Hey there, Kyler here from Self-Help Fitness, and today we're going to talk about which exercise style works best for you, whether you be training for a sport, a hobby, or a lifestyle. So get the perspective of a personal trainer, and let's get to it. Alright, so let's talk about which specific training style is going to work best for you. Now, as a personal trainer, I don't have any specific training styles that I use, because my job as a personal trainer is to help you reverse the modern day effects of, say, sitting all the time, or we got the text neck, thing going on with the T-Rex, even walk and stuff. So we've got all these different, people are dealing with sciatica constantly, and knee problems. So we've got a lot of issues that people are dealing with. And when we look at it from a personal training perspective, I think it's important that you guys understand what it is we do, as opposed to what you should maybe be doing. As a personal trainer, my job is to reverse these effects, and I can only do that if I can see your posture and if I can talk to you about your past, your present, and future where you're trying to take your body. So when I determine which exercises you're going to do, I have to really figure out what it is you want, and I have to think about the life that you're living and where you're headed. Okay. So the first thing that we try to talk to people about is what it means to live for longevity. So we've got four main words here that help me kind of guide you guys into what training style you can use. My goal here today is that there's many of you out there that have no idea what kind of training you should be doing, and over again, people are, kind of getting into a situation because they're in so much aches and pains and people aren't getting the results that they want. People are trying to do stuff all the time, and it's just gotten to the point where people don't really know why they're doing what they're doing. So my goal to you today is to kind of help you understand from a personal training perspective why we have you guys do what you should, what we tell you to do. Remember this, that 90% of trainers are just workout buddies. They're just there to make you work hard and count sets and reps, and they don't really have a way that they're devising your training plan. It's generally based on, well, she wants to do arms today, she wants to do legs, or I gotta make sure, they're trying to pacify you. I definitely want to make you guys happy, but I don't make you happy if you're not getting the results that you desire. And generally, losing the weight isn't just all the results. You have knee pain, back pain, you want to sleep better, you want to have better digestion and all those things, okay? So the first thing that we have to do between me, the trainer, and you, the client, is we have to figure out what is most valuable to you. So this is why I always say that it depends on whether you're training for a sport, a hobby, or a lifestyle. So, those three things are very different. Somebody's training for a sport, it's a high-end athlete, Olympic athlete, professional athlete. A hobby to me is somebody that's generally, again, somebody that's playing professional sports. A lot of people play basketball regularly, they play tennis, they're doing all these things, but maybe they're not playing it to such a high degree, but it's definitely more than doing the normal, stuff that people would be just trying to live a lifestyle that aren't trying to, be part of an AAU team or whatever the case may be. So the first thing as a trainer, I have to figure out what's most valuable to you, okay? So from this is where I want to take my body, this is, what I want to do with it, how I want to feel, all these things, okay? Because you have to remember, as a trainer, if I was to bring in 10 different clients here right now, brand new clients, everyone would tell me what I do. They would say it's different. Like, trainers don't really know or clients don't really, people don't really know what trainers do. And a lot of this has to do with the media, because I think everybody thinks we all do the same. Whatever you just saw on the Today Show today, you just kind of think, oh, that's what trainers do, and then they say something else. It's like, that's not the case for people like me who have been managing in gyms and working in gyms since I was 19 years old. Like, I actually know how this works and training and stuff. And we're in a precarious position right now because YouTube has blown up with, like I said, workout buddies. 90% of trainers that you guys are buying programs from and stuff, they're just workout buddies, and you're paying them a lot of money for, them to just, here's a good example. Let's say that you have a severe shoulder issue because you got the T-Rex arms because you're sitting at the computer all the time, right? So let's say your trainer doesn't realize, because he doesn't know that your bicep, which is a common thing with trainers, they don't know their biceps attached to the scapula. So imagine your scapula is rotated real far forward because you're sitting on the computer and you're on your phone all the time and you're just doing this constantly and everything. And so then you're like, well, you go to a trainer to get maybe the shoulder better, right? And he doesn't maybe really know much about the shoulder. So maybe he has to start doing shoulder exercises, not realizing what's going on with the scapula and how it's attached to the bicep triceps, like how all this is integrated as one whole unit. And so what happens is you end up just doing, arms to tone yourself up, and we hope that it gets better. A lot of times the shoulder doesn't get better. Dealing with like frozen shoulders and stuff, it's very hard. Like, you have to have a trainer that understands how to deal with this stuff. And again, most trainers aren't really there. So from a value perspective, we just have to figure out what's most valuable. Is it, being around your kids and family and stuff and just being able to not have aches and pains, or is it valuable to you to be a high-end athlete? All right? So once we figure out what's valuable, then as a trainer, I can start determining, are you going to be needing more barbell work and whatnot and straight line mechanics, or are you going to need more free movement? We're going to talk about what I mean by that. okay? Because here's the deal. As a trainer, I actually have a way that I go about looking at your body. It's my goal as I see you move through space and time to look at how you're, my goal is to expose you for who you are. So expose you in a way that shows like where your weaknesses are, show you where your strengths, and I do that with clients when I should put them in positions and I show them, hey, you can't do this, and this is a normal mobile situation you should be able to be doing. So my creating value and creating value, they're kind of different, and that's what we're trying to get to the same goal in the end. So that goal though is going to be competence. Okay, so our goal is for us to build for you, the client, a competent lifestyle. So a lifestyle where you see the light at the end of the tunnel and you guys aren't falling off and wrecking constantly, and it's because you're knee pain or because you can't handle family, and the food and all this stuff, or work, clients and food is crazy. So you guys are just, they always got donuts and stuff. So, we found it was valuable, but now we have to make competence out of that. And here's where the competence can be troublesome, because you guys might be working with trainers that don't know anything about posture. And they say they work on form by touching your elbows or telling you, oh, you squatted low enough. Listen, how deep you go in a squat has nothing to do with form. It's how you squat. It's how you go down. So it's just a lot of difference in how we look at it, okay? And so with the competence after that, we have to accept the program that I've put forth. Okay, and so this is where trainers and clients, we have an interesting situation, because again, sometimes, what I think needs to be done and what you think needs to be done are two totally different things. So this is why it's important to understand that as a personal trainer, it's my job to get your posture, and I have to do that with my eyeball without doing x-rays, because we don't want all that technology. We want to be able to just use your body, watch you move, get feedback, pain, this and that, look at the mobility, the lines, the angles, where you're going, and it's not that hard, okay? So we got our acceptance, we're going to accept it, and then after that, you just have to keep making the sacrifices to keep a running kind of circular thing going on here. Because if you don't make the right sacrifices, again, you give in to people, or you don't do the training and stuff like that, then you don't get, what you wanted out of this and the value and stuff, okay? So those are the basic words of how we do it. Let's kind of talk a little bit more about what I mean physically. Okay, so I kind of gave you the mental part of it, so when you're working with me as a trainer, so if you guys sign up to a mobile service app, or you come to work one-on-one with me, or maybe you're a corporate event and have me to come out there and talk to you, I'm not going to just I want to give you the ability to look at somebody's body or your own body and say, you know what, I need a little bit more order, I need a little bit more straight line mechanics, or be able to look at your body and say, man, I need a little bit more free will in my joints. I need to create more curvature, okay? And so you don't have that ability generally, because you're thinking about training in a way of, what's the name of the training and what's the style and how many reps and sets. It's like none of this stuff is based on physics. None of it's based on actually how you move. It's just I was training these guys, and I noticed that their biceps got big, and I had them do this certain thing, and this is what we've developed over the years, and these guys are just making stuff up because all they're focused on is making big muscles. And unfortunately, you guys didn't know the more muscle you have, the more joint pain you're going to have, the harder it is to get your posture where you want it to be. This idea that we need to be having people get extreme amounts of muscle and everybody needs to get toned and fit and stuff, it's delusional. Your body, how much muscle you need it's totally different than where we're kind of at. And right now, everybody has too much muscle, and the joint problems and the pain and the back, everybody's in pain and nobody understands why. And like, I need to work out more. And so again, a lot of it is there's not enough balance between order and free will and what types of training you're doing. So let's kind of break that down. So what do I mean by order? So let me give you guys a good example. So when you use a barbell, right? So let's say we've got a straight bar, whether it be bench press, it could be bar above your head, whatever kind of bar situation you got. The thing is, when you look at tracking, so let's say that I'm doing a situation with a bar, this circle represents 360 degrees worth of range of motion. Now, what I want to be sure of is I want to hit as much angle as I can as I'm moving. So this is why people, when you study what I teach with training, is I'm teaching curvature all the time. I'm teaching you guys to curve your body as much as possible, even when you're doing straight line things. Like if you're bench pressing, you'll notice in powerlifting, they teach you to break the bar. So create this idea of even curvature in your mind as you push through the movement. The deal is this though, have you noticed that people gain big muscles when they use barbells a lot and things that are straight line? Meaning this, like if somebody uses, let's say I have a woman and I give her only barbell exercises, right? And I only have her use barbells. She's gonna build up less range of motion over time. She's going to build up a lot of order because she can only do so many. You see what I'm saying? It's the same exercise all the time because the bar only is going to allow her to do so much stuff, right? And there's a lot we can do, okay? But the bar, unfortunately, our ability to create free will at the bar is going to be limited. It doesn't say that we can. There's definitely some exercises that we can create some good free will. And you're obviously you always have a free will movement through even bench press. I'm moving through it. The problem is that with the bar, think of it this way. If you do bench press with the bar, as you come down, your elbow is always tracking in the same spot for the most part, right? And if you're doing bench press and you're trying to get 600 pounds, 700 pound bench press, this is good. You want to create a lot of order. You want to make that happen. But the problem is that because you focus maybe so much on bench press, these guys back in the day, they didn't do a lot of mobility. So whether like nowadays, you guys are seeing that bodybuilders, everybody's getting into yoga and Pilates because they're all realizing, man, I spent all this time focusing on getting the big muscles and I didn't spend any time relaxing and creating more free will in the joint, okay? So you can see the difference here. You know, again, when you're doing, and it could be without even a barbell. So this is where this doesn't have to be a barbell. These straight line mechanics, it's an allegory, symbolism for you to understand that, like, even if you run on flat surfaces, right? So let's say I'm running on flat surfaces. Well, flat is a straight line. That, therefore, if you watch my other videos, I talked about how, you know, your feet are supposed to be a tank tread, right? And the thing is, that's why your feet are designed to have texture and to go barefoot outside, and the ground is like soft and it's textury. That's what you're designed to feel all the time. And so now we've built a situation where we have flat shoes and we have flat land. So the deal is that we currently live in a situation where we're always walking on flat surfaces, our shoes are flat, and so what I'm saying is this is flatness, order, straight lines. And I'm going to circle here, but it's just straight line command mechanics constantly, okay? So our feet are, now we're doing, you know, people got higher, everybody just doesn't know where their feet don't know where to go. And the thing is, remember, your body was already designed by God and it knows what it needs to do. It's our goal to kind of help you work back to that. Okay, so this is where whether you believe in God or not, this could be different. Because if you don't believe in God, obviously you have no idea where you're headed and where you're from and stuff, okay? So to move forward, the bottom line is just understanding some of that just from a, you know, a simple perspective of think about things being flat and straight line and think about things being curved, okay? So as I'm working with you guys day to day, no matter what the situation is, whether you've got injuries, you're trying to be an athlete or anything, I'm trying to develop your program, and it might have some barbell work, it might be a lot of yoga, I don't really know. So for example, let's say you're you know, a big muscly person and you come to me and you're like, you know, Kyler, I want to get bigger and all these other things. You might be doing everything right on this end. Like maybe maybe you're working with a high-end coach that's already gotten a lot of good barbell work and, you know, you've got the basic stuff that we've talked about in the past. But you're part of this new system where you're like, man, I'm having a lot of joint pain though, and the guys that are teaching me this stuff, you know, the barbell work and the heavy training, they're not teaching me yoga and Pilates. So this is where, you know, this is what a real trainer does is I'm not biased. I don't, you know, it's like, oh, I don't do yoga because that's too, I'm not into that. Listen, the fact that you said you don't need to do yoga is probably why you need to do yoga, because yoga is relaxing and you're over here, you know, running your mouth and you're hyper, you're taking your pre-workout and then you're drinking your coffee and then you got a Red Bull. I mean, you guys that I work with are just, some of you just take so much energy. It's crazy. You're constantly stressing your body out and then you don't understand why your joints hurt so bad or why you can't sleep or why you can't digest food. It's like, well, you don't have a rest. And it's like, well, I go to sleep every night. One, you're not grounded when you sleep if you don't have a grounding mat, so you're just allowing your energy to stay binded in you. And then two, you never do yoga, Pilates. A lot of guys don't stretch. So, and that's where, again, it doesn't have to be yoga, Pilates. A lot of this mobility is just stretching. But here's where stretching can be different. So imagine you just talked about straight line, and you're seeing how this is more order, more consistency, more doing the same thing over and over again. And free will movement is more just, again, free will everywhere, right? Wherever you want to go kind of thing. And so think of it this way. There's yoga moves that are more order than free will. So this is where this gets a little more complicated, and as you get good at this, you go, oh, this is where this gravy's at. Because what's happening is let's say you go to a yoga class, I don't know what it's called, but you hold the movements for like 5 minutes. So you're doing mobility, but you're creating a lot of order. Isn't that cool? Because you're binding into the same movement. Now let's say you go to a yoga class, and instead of holding movements for 5 minutes, it's one of those yoga classes where you're going from movement to movement, and they build you into like 25 movements, and it's awesome, and you're just doing like 25, and you're not holding anything. So you're creating extreme amounts of movement, and the order is something else. So do you see how I do my job? Isn't that cool? And see, as you guys start thinking about this, then it opens up a whole like plethora of exercises, because now you can go to sleep tonight and say, you know what, there's nothing that's not on the board for me. everything's on the board. And I might have to do a back bend. I might have to do some weird stuff, that maybe it was like, stop worrying about whether things are girly or manly and stuff like that, because they're allegories for order and free will. A lot of people, women don't understand, like, you're pure free will. That's what we represent in the Bible. Men represent order. This is why Adam needed Eve, because he had no free will. He couldn't make babies and stuff and things like that. So recognizing who we are really helps us, figure out what we need to do, because we all know we're working on a positive negative system, up, down, tall, short. It's all, we see this system working around us when we look at how biology works, and so we want to take advantage of this same allegory. One of the great things about Living for Longevity is it's based on all of this. The videos that we got coming out about the seminar, from the seminars and things, is going to go into this more in depth from a mental perspective, because the great thing is, once you figure out how to apply this to your physical body, you can apply it to your mental body and your spiritual body. Okay, because the reality is whether you have aches and pains, you have let's say you have a food issue, digestion issues and stuff. Again, you got to find better order. Your free will is out of control with your food. You may not like some of the things I order you to do because you don't know how to control your free will. That's why you hire me, so I can help you learn how to control it. Okay, so as we move forward through this, the key thing, and this is, when we talk about machines and stuff, now you can start seeing why machines are so detrimental, because you sit all day and then you go into the gym and you sit on a machine and work out. Oh man, what about here? Okay, and then your hips are all binding up, and then you're like, I don't know why my body hurts, why I can't get up and down. And sometimes this happens when you're younger, sometimes it happens when you're older. You never really know, okay? And so what you don't want to do is just take it for granted, right? So you always want to be diligent about your body, be aware of what it's doing. But this is where you guys don't do this, and you guys are doing so many things with your life. So that's why you can come to me, and like with the mobile service app, you can upload your pictures, and then I can see your posture, and I can say, hey, let's start working on these things, and actually develop a workout program that's truly tailored to you. Because again, when all these guys are saying a lot of the times, and I'm not saying every trainer, because there's a lot of people that are good, like what I'm trying to help, and we're all on the same team, we're trying to get this done. But a lot of times it just doesn't work out the way we want, and so we have to kind of figure out, from these two ends, because we have different styles of training. Like, are you going to go and work with a trainer that's going to be a workout buddy, that's going to beat you up and they're going to make you sweat? But whether they cure your issues with your sleep, your digestion, your joint pain, if you actually lose the weight, who knows, right? So that's that choice, right? Or you can have the choice like I'm trying to provide, which is the type of trainer that I don't want to keep fishing for you. In fact, my clients know that I don't really like to work with them for more than 3 to 6 months. Because, and unless they're obviously in a different situation, but for most people, it's like, let's get you in, get you figuring out what you need to do for your posture and lifestyle, and get you out. And then if you need to keep working with me, it's just because maybe your lifestyle changed, right? Your posture changed, maybe whatever the case may be. Okay? And so as a personal trainer, just remember, it's not just my job to help you, but it's my job to mentally and spiritually guide you. One thing I tell people about Living for Longevity is that this brand is based on really talking to your spirit. As a trainer, I realized a long time ago that we can keep giving you physical workouts and keep mentally telling you all this hoorah motivational stuff, hoorah, and making all sorts of motivational videos and coming up with new color schemes and new programs. But it's all for nothing if the programs don't actually help Americans. So imagine we got obesity is increasing, pain is increasing across the board. Everybody is getting in a worse situation, and we're focusing on health more and more, and we've got more healthy options than ever, and it's not getting better. And this is because there's a conscious problem with the way we think about our food, our physical bodies, and everything that's going on. So as a personal trainer, I'm really trying to help you guys, start using these guys again, lead with your heart, and start thinking, more about, and not just doing, not just taking it for granted that the future is going to be like the past, and we do take that for granted. And the reality is you don't know that the future is going to be like the past unless, again, you have knowledge of what you're doing and you're trying to create a plan, and, you have a plan that that you find valuable, and you're being confident, you accept that you're sacrificing and all those things, then you're going to see it, okay? So I hope that this helps you from my perspective as a trainer, because now I hope that you guys aren't going to say, well, I don't need to be doing next exercise with it, or that's not good for me, or Kyler, I'll never be able to balance on a ball and squat on it. Well, one, with that attitude, you're not, and now two, now you can see why me balancing on a ball and squatting is so important, because it takes a lot of free will. I mean, it's a lot of mobility needed, right? But it takes extreme amounts of order to complete. Like it's both intensities. And so when I train you guys, I'm trying to build you up into exercises that are both extreme intensities of order and free will, not just extreme intensity of one or the other. right? And knowing that when I am doing extreme intensities of one or the other, there's a reason and a purpose to it as to why I'm doing it, because I'm trying to pull your chest out, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get those, whatever the case, maybe trying to maybe I'm trying to move your abdomen to the right a little bit because your hips are out. So there's all sorts of things that I'm visually seeing, and you might not be thinking about those. And it's not saying you have to be super anal about your posture and be thinking about these things all the time, but you do want to be aware of them. And now I'm giving you a gift to unwrap, because now you can start taking this gift and unwrapping it daily and saying, okay, I have a lot of pain here, or I want to build more muscle here, you know what I mean? So again, you're not going to see yoga guys with big muscles, because they're not doing the same order movement over and over again. Now, if you had a yoga person pick, say, 3 movements, and they did those 3 movements over and over and over again, and they got to where they could hold it, they could do every variation of it, you would see musculature gain in those areas, as opposed to the areas they don't work, okay? So what we want is we want musculature that is balanced throughout the body. But what I'm trying to do is give you guys the fish and say, look, make it simple. Order in free will, it's not that hard. I can either be doing lots of exercises that, again, create order, and you'll want to create order. Because imagine if you have a frozen shoulder, there's going to be some order created because we've got to keep doing some of the same exercises. But don't think that it's all going to be, I'm going to fix my shoulder with a bunch of barbell, dumbbell, and machine work. You're going to need to do yoga and Pilates, okay? Or do a knee stretch, basically, right? So I hope this has been helpful. You can go to our website at www.selfhelpfitness.com and you can check out the mobile app that I offer. So the mobile app is for anybody around the world, so that you guys can get the opportunity to work with me, and I can, you upload the pictures, and then I can work with how you're moving. You guys can upload videos through it and everything. Like, it's very interactive, because the more I see you, the more we talk and stuff, and you tell me, oh, this is my life, this is when I sleep and stuff, then I can start saying, hey, I can start helping you find order in your life, but still within the free will that you want. Order, free will, okay? Understand these concepts, how much of this you need, how much of that you need, and if you're not sure, you can reach out to me and say, hey Kyler, here's my situation. Do you think I need to be doing more mobility to fix this shoulder? Is it more of a structural strength thing that I'm not seeing? Again, these are the things that we'll work on and stuff, all right? So go to the website, selfhelpfitness.com, check out the mobile app, or if you're here in Raleigh, local, you can work with me one-on-one in person, and we can really get down to the nitty-gritty with this, all right? So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you soon.